What up, it's your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios. It is Motherfucking Monday. How's everybody doing? It looks like he did it in motherfucking 53 seconds. Give it up for my co-host, Dino the Genetic Marvel.
Hey. Dude, I am very fast. I don't look fast, but I am fast.
You're spry. And for anybody want to know what we're talking about, Dino had to switch over his laundry before the show, and he had it timed for right at 47 seconds till the intro.
It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't on purpose. Just I walked downstairs and I'm like, I got 11 minutes. I'm like, damn. Yeah. So it's I just didn't. I've never I clean my lint trap and do all the stuff that you're supposed to do, but at the same time, I know if you throw clothes in the dryer, you shouldn't leave the house. It's the same thing like putting something in the oven and then leaving the house. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're like, but it's a slow cooker. It doesn't matter.
Dryer. Because I've just recently seen and heard about different videos of people with their animals that are in the dryer. And and the babies. Back in the day, it was the babies.
Yeah,
you know, the cats and the dogs knew to stay out the fucking dryer, but some reason the babies was getting in the dryer.
I don't understand why people leave the door on the washing machine open. That's weird to me. I've seen people like, oh well, I'm not using it. You're like, so why is the door open? They're like, well, I'm not using it. You're like, why is the door open?
Well, I can see nowadays. Because the newer washing machines, and I went through two of these bitches. That's why I bought an old school one off the fucking street.
Right.
The locks with these new computerized washing machines or whatever, they fucking go bad. They'll lock your clothes right in that shit. They'll lock your clothes right in that shit, dude. I had a science experiment growing in one of my fucking laundry in my washing machines, man. Fuck them things. You know, old school. You pull it out or you push it in, and then you got that kind of dial in the back.
Yep. I'm the same thing for like stoves, washers, dryers. I'm like, yeah, you can buy an old one for $200 that's been refurbished, and you're like, yeah, it's just press a button and go. It's fine. You don't need it. And people are like, oh, well, this does. I'm like, does it fold it? Oh no, it doesn't. Then I don't need it. I still have to fold it. I don't give a shit. It's not doing anything fancy, you know.
I got to get a new stove here at my house, and I'm thinking, like, I've been looking at the old school, like the pipe goes into the burners, and you got a handle. That's it. And if you go near it, you get burnt. Yeah. Stay the fuck away from the stove.
I mean, like, there's an entire genre on TikTok of old school appliances, and like some of them, one of them I remember was it had like a Lazy Susan inside of it. And people are like, oh, surely that can't. So the guy put it like 4 jugs of milk and it spun perfectly. And you're going, yeah, it's called fucking steel, bro. It's not made out of plastic, okay? That shit will hold. And then people were like, why don't we still have them? Like, because we live in a garbage society where you don't fix, just replace.
Dude, when I first moved into this house, like I still got the dial telephones on the walls. I left them on the walls as an example for my kids when they were growing up. You want a phone? I'll turn the phones on.
Yeah, no problem.
But my stove, like when I first got it, first of all, this is how retro my stove was.
Yeah.
I hated that I had to get rid of it. It was fucking pink. It was that off pink. You know, that's how old the stove was. It had the stove burners on top, and it had the oven. Then it had the side oven there, like the bottom.
Bro, where my mom grew up in Greece, like I said, they're in the mountains. They use firewood to heat the house. They have a wood burning stove, and I'm like, bro, the food you get out of a wood burning stove, unparalleled. And you're like, hey, that was Like, oh, if you're cold, yeah, go in that room. You'll be hot in 5 seconds. Because even a baked potato wrapped in tinfoil, shove it into the coals, and you're like, God, you're getting the best baked potato you ever had. It was just, yeah, that was that. That's a way of life. Like, there's been a whole thing where people are like, oh, eating pickled vegetables and stuff like that, and like are very good for your body. Like you like, it's not just, hey, we did that because we didn't have fridges. No, it's actually beneficial for you to eat pickles and stuff like that. Like, fermented foods are really good for you. That's why whiskey's from God. It's just, we all know it. It's true.
So, here's something I was gonna say. I don't know why, but I guess it's because you mentioned gods or whatever. Something my son just happened to dig up because he does a lot of the fucking rabbit hole diving too. Did you know that there were Greek star people? Yeah, yeah. And they were pretty much shunned by the Greeks and the star people, but they stayed with the Greeks.
Yeah, because they're better. Yeah.
I think was it the Minoans? It started with an N.
Okay, so there's Mycenaeans.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mycenaeans, no, they're not star people. That's not those guys. Hey, so there's rumors that they were the sea people that just appeared and fucked people up and then fucked off and just disappeared.
Like,
there's a lot of weird ancient technology type stuff where they're like, we don't know anything about them yet. Like, yeah, that's because they were fucking gangster. And like, like that's the thing is, like, Greece evolved very like in a warlord society, right? Like, if you really want to compare, Greece was basically like the United States in that each state had its own identity. And then they're like, one person's like, fuck this shit. We gotta be all together. We're gonna fuck people up. And then they're like, we have a guy. His name is Alex the Great. He will fuck it up. And he sure enough did. So it's you know, it's a weird thing where, you know, the group is superior to its individual parts, right? And realistically, and this is something I don't understand too, is that growing up, each state had its own industry that it relied on. Some were agricultural, other were steel. Like, they all had something, and now they just have nothing. And you're like, why would you do that? That's like, that doesn't make any sense, because that created trade in between states, and then you're like, basically, it's a barter system on bigger systems. But
the problem is, and we've seen it more and more, the evolution of these type of people. There's always a group of victim fucking, people who are have that victim mentality where that's not fair, and everybody should have some of this, and everybody should, the rich have everything and control everything, and we should tax the rich more. And I shouldn't have to work; they shouldn't have to pay. And it goes all the way back to the dawn of time. And if you haven't realized, anybody who looks at any kind of history, those type of people were the main fucking I wouldn't say building block, but the person who took the block away at the base of the fucking foundation.
Yes. Well, and this is the thing, is that there's this weird history, right? So, like, a successful society has always been a society where, not to be sexist, but men would plant trees that they'll never experience the shade of, right? They built on society that they may not see the benefits, but knowing that it's a long-term game. It's not even for me, it's for my kids or even my kids' kids. There's an entire during is it Finland or Sweden? I forget which one it was. They planted an entire forest of black oak for another run of ships when they were making ships out of wood, and they just came to peak growth recently, and you're like, the deliverable is ready. we don't make ships anymore, right? But you're going like that's the thing is that's you had to plan out. Like that's why the written word changed everything because you could pass on knowledge further and further and further.
Right.
And the problem was like because originally and like for the stuff that you follow is like the a verbal history was important to most cultures and most civilizations because I heard it from my father, and there was like there's an entire group of people in every culture that their job is just to maintain consistency, right? And like there's historical stuff where they're like, so a scribe, which you're like, it's an antiquated job, but it was their job was to copy because you could just copy by hand, you couldn't do anything else. And you'll see in historic texts where scribes would make notes, be like, this has been changed for this reason because we found an older one that it was changed, so we're changing it back, and and you're going, it's about that consistency every generation, and that's why it was a huge job where you had new people, old people, old people, and then it was like that was a not an achievement, but it was something that was praiseworthy.
It was the archive that held your history, holds your fucking future, man. And then somewhere along the ways, especially with the more American culture, we took that and decided we were just going to say fuck it, and anybody's going to write anything on everything. And now we find out that people who were the villains back in so many years ago were actually maybe good guys. We're seeing people who are supposedly the victims were the ones who were orchestrating a lot of genocides. We see all kind of fucking shit, and you're like, but then you got them diehard people who just refuse to have an open mind. No, it was never like that. No, it wasn't like that. Yeah. No, it said here.
But what is it? See, and that's the weird thing is that it's this odd thing that has kept on coming up in all of our podcasts was a witch got me. No, it was the idea that like, isn't it weird that over the last 500 years the good guys have always won? That's an odd thing. You're like, how fortuitous that the good people, the heroes always won and the villains always lost. And you go like, that really sounds a lot like propaganda. And I feel stupid for believing it for so long because you're going, that doesn't make sense. Listen, I'm not saying that I'm not happy with who won. I am saying that, hey, this is propaganda. This is 100% propaganda. And we're, like, I think this is, I wonder, and maybe let me get your opinion on this, Marco, do you think that this is caused by the expansion of knowledge that has been generated in part by the internet? Or do you think that this is an inevitable cyclical thing that happens with each society?
I think it's more inevitable. I mean, the internet is just the hieroglyphics of back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When they changed from stamping hieroglyphics with a reed into clay to writing it down on a rolling pin and then rolling it out, just people take for granted that the baby steps that actually made huge steps in the long run.
Yeah,
I mean, we went from people who rode around with cowboys and documented what they did for comic books to Ben Franklin fucking making the printing press, and now you got a newspaper. Yeah. So that cowboy comic book or whatever might have got maybe 50 or less books made, and it was distributed by hand. Yeah. Whereas now you got some kid in a funny hat on the corner selling newspapers every day. So, I mean, and then the expansion of that on and on and on. Because even back then, propaganda was, as soon as the printing press came out, the propaganda came out. Because before, it was just somebody fucking telling some bullshit. Yeah. Ben Franklin fucking, fuck him. Well, now it's on paper, and a lot of people see it on paper, and that's official. And, they take that and run with it. Just like, there's a big conspiracy out there that says that the guy that's on the dollar bill, and that the guy that's on the coins, and that the guy that's supposedly our first president, George Washington, wasn't even a president. It was some Weasenheim something guy who damn
For real?
looked identical to George Washington, but he was a German dude.
Whoa, for real?
Yeah, look that shit up. Like who's really on the dollar bill?
Well, so after watching Shane Gillis's special, he was saying how he went to the George Washington museum, and he goes like, bro, you get in there and you're like, fucking George Washington was a badass, and then it finishes with his teeth, and you're like, oh, this guy had problems, bro. You're like, yo, this guy had lead in his mouth. He was losing his mind, and you're like, that is how that works. Like that is. It's like, yeah, 6'2", which might as well be 7 feet tall back then. Red haired with fucking horse teeth in his mouth with lead. He's like, ah! You're like, yeah, that's fucking terrifying. That's,
you know, coming across the fucking lake in a boat at you
with a fucking sword. You're like, oh, get the fuck out of here, bro. I would die. You'd be like, oh, they fucking have trolls. I'm out, bro. Nobody said they had trolls. I'm nuh-uh.
There was another comedian who said something about going to visit the George Washington Museum, and he says, you know, this is the Father of Freedom's house, and this is the Father of Freedom's bedroom, and this is Father of Freedom's slave quarters. And you're like, wait a minute, he's the Father of Freedom. You're like, wait a minute.
Can we word that differently? That might not work. That might not work as a selling point, people. It's just
speaking of the good guys always winning.
Yeah.
Supposedly we got peace in the litter box now. They halted the throwing of piss fritters at each other, and
piss fritters. What the fuck is a piss fritter?
You ever seen a litter box when a cat goes and pisses in it and they got it clumps up? That's a piss fritter.
I hate that I know what a piss fritter is. I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
You always knew.
The information was always inside me. That's gross. Yeah.
Apparently, from what's been being told to what's behind the scenes, supposedly the Star people gave up a whole bunch of concessions. First of all, I'm not on either side. I'm on, I know the Star people are a bunch of, especially in my own research. I don't give a fuck what anybody else feels or how they feel or whatever. Yeah. Just, in the curiosity and questions I got from the lies that I've been told about the Star people.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of pieces of shit. Now, if you go on the other side, though, if you go on the other side of the fucking road, ain't no fucking better. Ain't no fucking better. Not a goddamn, one has a suit, one has a suit and one don't. One has, one's bullets are shiny, the other one's bullets, might have some sand in them. Either way, they're both fucking pieces of shit, and we didn't need to be involved in them.
Well, see, this is, and you know what? Like, even 47 said it best, was like, I just want people to stop dying. Which I'm like, you know what? I don't care who wins. I just want war to end, because war is not a profitable enterprise for anyone. Because the people who do, and let me try and explain. The people who do make money, you don't want to have money. You want them to be homeless because they're bad people. You don't want them to have money. Let's just start there, right? And I'd rather have people who are industrious and working hard and making people's lives better to gain that money, right? Because money's out there. There's no question. But when it goes to war, all the money goes to war. That's, the budget for war is always available. Why? Because we're defending freedom. No, you're not. Let's be honest. That's that's a dream, and it's nice, but
I look at it this way. Again, if you look in the I ain't even gonna say the Bible. If you look at all the history and holy books or whatever, war has always been in the litter box. And there's always been a particular type of people who are always kind of, in somehow, some way, got their dick in each and every war in the litter box. I mean, each and every one. Even when there was so-called peace, there there was a snotty little autistic fucking painter who tried to tell people about, what was going on back in the day. Nobody wanted to believe him because maybe he was less melanated, maybe he talked scary, who fucking knows? But when it came down to it, if you looked at what was going on, yeah, there's always been, it's kind of a double-edged sword when I say there's always been war over the litter box. Because when there wasn't war, there were groups, there was a particular group that kept running around and sacking villages. You either joined us in our army, or we bludgeoned you to death with dull fucking swords, cut you up in pieces, maybe rape you, and I'm talking to the men, and take your women. Yeah. Now, we aren't going to say who them particular people are, or who they ended up to be, or what kind of star was on their fucking flag. But we're just going to say a particular type of people. Now, if you look at the fucking scary little painter dude and what he was doing, at least, I'm not saying it was right, but at least he did it in a more humane way. One bullet is better than one dull sword. I'm just saying that. I would rather take it once than get my hands cut off and then my feet cut off and then maybe an arm cut off. Mind you, in a group of people, and then if I'm lucky, and they'll take my head off. Yeah. If not, they just throw you as you look like you're a fucking doormat in the middle of the road where children throw rocks at you. I mean,
yeah, like look, and you know what, like it's a weird point that you make, which it is very valid, but it's like there is a humaneness that we now have that is arguably better. It is arguably better, right?
It's just a better way. It's a more humane murder.
But it is still murder. Like that is a fair argument, right? Like it's still murder, but also I'd rather be murdered that way. Like it was the same thing where like when they were still using the guillotine, the whole idea was you wanted to go first because they didn't sharpen in between drops.
Yeah, that knife got dull as fuck.
And the longer it went, the more drops it took, and like that is fucking horrible, bro. Like, and like it's because think about it this way: is it'll drop, you're paralyzed, then it drops, you stop breathing, then it drops, then you actually die. You're like, oh, that's not good. That's not a good way to do.
Gurgling on your blood.
Yeah. That is not a ideal circumstance. Let's say that.
And the whole thing, I think the humanity of war now has taken the fear of war out.
Ooh.
Because if you even look all the way back to Vlad the Impaler, if we look,
does great work, bro. Does great work.
And not the vampire part. We're looking at real history. He had to defend a small piece of land with a very small army.
Yep.
So if you're gonna take up that fight, you have to be the most brutal, the most vile, the most. There is no Geneva Convention. There is no humanity. This is rip somebody's eyeball out and stuff it in somebody's mouth and then fucking type of shit. And what did he do? He fucking impaled people and left them at the gates.
Hey, and
it made you think twice before you said, "Hey, let's go fucking."
Well, and remember too is he would impale them in a way that they would be alive.
Yeah,
and then they were just left to die because apparently there is an art to impaling people and having them survive. Who knew? And just it's a very like. I mean, like, do you think that's like the idea of like the heroes we have versus the heroes we want? You're like, hey, he did right by his country, and he stopped the Persians from coming through. Right. And you're going like, listen, like if you want,
everybody wants to be the king until it's time to do king shit. Everybody wants to be the wolf until it's time to do wolf shit. You want to be top dog until it's time to top dogs rip off fucking heads. Top dogs fucking rip your throat out and show it to the rest of the pack to say, hey, I'm top dog. It ain't got to be all the time, but every once in a while, you're going to catch your throat.
I think that's the hard part about being in quote unquote civilized society, right? We're in a situation where we're trying to be civilized, but then you have people who aren't civilized who are just working through the rules as opposed to by the rules. And you're going, that's not like it's that whole idea behind the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. And you're going, listen, like the whole idea behind no fault insurance is that, hey, you're not going to be responsible for somebody else's bad decisions. And then they're like, no, you're going to be held responsible for whatever happens. And you're like, no, don't do that. That's worse. Why would you do that? Right? Like it's the idea where you're like, I shouldn't be penalized because someone hit me. I should be penalized if I did something wrong. Right? And they're like, no, everyone's going to be penalized regardless because you were involved. And you're like, that's not fair. Right? And they're going, well, that's a new rule. Right? So.
Well, that's like when growing up in school, we went from you don't do that shit in the school,
yeah,
to you tell on whoever's bullying you,
yeah,
to if somebody's bullying you, you both get in trouble and get suspended.
Oh yeah. Even though I didn't do anything to stop the bullying.
When I got, I used to tell my kids all the time, you're gonna get in trouble, no matter what. You're going to get in trouble. So if it comes to if you got to handle something, you drop into one of them principals, the teachers pull you off of that motherfucker. You're going to get in trouble regardless. You might as well keep your respect.
Yeah. My dad wouldn't get mad if we got into fights. He got mad if we got suspended from school. That was his. He's like, no, why did you get suspended from school, stupid? Don't get caught. Like his anger was always that you're missing your education or that you were too stupid and got caught. And he's like, be better. Like, what's your stupid?
I mean, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not.
When my son got cornered, I will never forget when he was in, I think it was a 6th, 7th grade. Some bullies cornered him in a bathroom. We're going to try to beat him up. And he picked up a pencil and he shoved it through the kid's hand. I went up to that school now because he got fucking suspended for it. The rest of the kids got suspended, but he missed out on his school trip for defending himself. So I took him out that weekend. We went and kicked it. We did whatever. No, that's some fuck shit right there.
See, and that's always my. If I was attacked, why am I being punished? Right. You should let them attack you. You're like, what kind of precedent are you setting? No, that's not real life.
And that's what they're teaching these kids now, the zero tolerance in school. So, the bully, might get it, but you're going to get it just as bad as the bully. So then what punishment is that? You're just, you're not even putting a bandage on the fucking problem. You're just putting a problem in another fucking room.
Yeah. And that's the real frustration of it is I'm like, listen, just because I remember once I called HR because I was being bullied at work and they're like, how are you being bullied? And I'm like, just because of my size doesn't mean I can't be. There are people who are above me who are bullying me. And they're like, yeah, who cares? I was like, okay, well, fuck you then.
Here's a question for you. Do you think because the rise in school, we'll just say incidents, has gone up, way up since I was a kid and teenager and stuff. And then, when we had teenagers and kids doing stupid shit with firearms, it was mostly over drugs and gangs. It was not, whatever in school.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they started instituting these anti-bullying programs, these anti-this and that, under the guise of, well, they had one incident, so we're going, and they said that they were bullied, so we're going to do this anti-bullying thing. It feels like if you look at the rise in anti-bullying initiative to the rise of firearm incidents in school, bring the fucking bullying back. Let these kids get the fuck out.
Hey.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're giving these kids no recourse. Yeah. So of course they're grabbing a fucking gun. What's wrong with you?
It's the same thing behind the idea of No Child Left Behind. But instead of making sure people learn. What they did was they just forced a pass,
Out.
and you're going, yeah, that's no. You're following the letter of the law and missing the entire. No kid left behind means you're spending every resource you have to make sure everyone gets educated. But instead, what you said was, I'll just pass them and let it be somebody else's problem. You're going, you created an entire generation of idiots, is what happened, right? Oh, we don't fail people. Okay, but they're a failure. Why wouldn't you fail them? And they're like, no child left behind. You're like, that's not what that means, dummy. Like, it's that idea, right? And same thing. The anti-bullying rules have created a hostile environment where people's logic and reason is abandoned for their lack of protection, right? Like, remember, and we've discussed this before, is the Crips and Bloods were neighborhood watch programs. That's what they were created for. They were created to safeguard their neighborhood. And then they said, well, now we have power. Let's do something else. And you know what? If you didn't help them in their time of need, they'll help themselves. And then they'll help themselves to whatever they want. Right? And needs get overboard.
And when and the bad thing is when I feel like when you lose, and I've noticed this a lot in history, even down to the local level with street gangs. When you lose a purpose, when you finally won or you got what you wanted, then shit starts going awry in your own community. Because I mean, again, the Crips and the Bloods were neighborhood watch gangs for their communities, and then once they had peaceful communities for a quick minute, then they started picking on the white people. And then you had a whole generation of young white kids getting picked on by the brown and black folks. And then you end up with fucking Aryans and neo-Nazis and all that type of shit. Now you got somebody to fight against that you created. And that's the history of America. This is the history of fucking the world, pretty much.
That's the problem.
Once you finally get that so-called peace, what are you going to do with it? I mean, it's a perfect example. I'll put myself in a situation. I used to work my ass off for everything. No matter what I did, I just had this discussion with somebody. I had a lifestyle that I might have brought about illegally back when I was a kid. But once, that shit was gone away, I still like my lifestyle. There's certain things that I like that, no matter what. So I did what I had to do to keep that lifestyle, whether it was 2-3 jobs, whether it was doing whatever on the side, whatever, that was just the way I, lived. Now, when I got to the point where I was able to retire, like, now what do you do? Once you got everything that you pretty much wanted or worked for, now what?
Yeah.
You make fucking 5-6 podcasts a week. That's what.
So that's the funny thing is I was talking with a friend of mine. And I was like, hey, because he used to work on the west end of Toronto and further out, closer to Niagara Falls type of things. And but every once in a while he would come into town. We would grab breakfast. I'm like, hey, do you still come in town about Blue Moon? Because I haven't seen him in a while. And he's like, I'm actually pretty much retired, so my schedule's open. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do something, because why not? It's one of those things where and I've seen it, bro. I've seen this so much where people retire and thinking, oh, I'm retired, I should just do nothing. You're like, no, because if you do nothing, you're gonna die. Like that's what happens.
I'm real lazy. You get depressed. You start hoarding shit.
Bro, and it's like the good thing about if that happens when you're younger is you can get out of your funk and move forward, and then you have a better perspective and understanding of you're like, I can have scheduled nothing, but not always nothing. That's a problem. Right. I have to have things to do, right? And it's but that's the thing is you don't realize until you're in it, and then you're going, fuck, I'm fat.
Yes. Yeah. You got a titty right there, right there.
Yeah. Wow.
So what do you think as far as, because we were talking about the religious aspect of it, but just as far as the real world aspect, what do you think about this whole peace deal, Gaza, whatever the hell shit going on.
So there are some people who never want peace.
I agree.
And as we've seen in recent history, I think it was only a couple months ago, is people will use the headline of peace as an opportunity to attack. Like we've all heard the statement that no one can fight a war on two fronts. But then, like, there's also the funny little saying where it's like, you don't know what somebody else is going through. That's the perfect time to attack because they're probably focused elsewhere. You're like, shit. It's not. No, don't do that. That makes you a dick, right? So it's that idea of people will use the statement of peace or declaration of peace as a perfect opportunity for someone to see their opponent or enemy or whatever you want to call it as their guard is down. This is my opportunity to attack, and that's significantly worse than war. Like I think it was actually so they talk about it actually. I think it's in the last Hunger Games movie where there's a plan to drop a bomb, and when the dust settles and everyone goes in to try and help out, you drop another bomb because then all the people are there, right? There's more. You created an opportunity to target more, and that's actually, like, historically that has been used, and people are like, yeah, if you do that, you're a bad person. I'm like, it works, but you're a bad person, right?
Yeah,
so it's like
that goes back to our beginning conversation about the rules of war, the human, like.
In Canada, we call it the Geneva Suggestions.
Yeah, who made up like rules? Like that's what fucks me up. Like on it, and then I just never understood that. I never we especially America and the NATO countries. Don't forget them fuckfaces.
Yeah.
You know, we are the most humane murderers there are.
Yes.
I mean, and then we have to get shit from our own people about it.
Okay, so an example of this is that the States has attempted to stop search and seizure or random searches on people, right?
Stop frisk.
You look stop. Yeah. What is it called?
Stop frisk.
Stop frisk. So, because you look sketchy, I want to see what the fuck's going on. Whereas in other countries, by command of the president, prime minister, whatever you want to call it, king, whatever, even if you were suspected of partaking in drugs, they would just shoot you. And a comedian made the joke about how, like, no, I'm just late from work. I'm not on drugs. And I'm like, bang. There was no accountability for it or anything. So it's like, you guys, like, it's this weird thing where people are like, we've both laughed about it. Nobody has a song that says "fuck the fire department," right? Right? But there's a lot of songs that say "fuck the police," and in turn, you're going, yeah, there are some people who are assholes and they're police. I'll give you that. But does that make the police assholes? That's a harder pill to swallow. So you're like, hey, someone looks sketchy in a neighborhood they're not supposed to be in, and you say, hey, how you doing today? And you check things out. And people are like, no, it's against you're violating my rights. Okay, sure. But I'll be honest with you. I've had people say, hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? I'm like, oh, I'm visiting someone. They're like, oh, who? That person right there. They're like, oh, okay, enjoy. I had a reason to be there. So, like, it's kind of weird that people who are like,
I got a question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Now, that neighborhood that you were in, was it crime ridden? Was it a nice neighborhood? Was it there's no fuckery involved, no, because generally I noticed that a lot of the nicer neighborhoods, the more less crime neighborhoods, the more better looking neighborhoods have people who care about their neighbors and everything like that to be like, hey, you going to see anybody right? You ain't got to be a dick about it. Like,
No.
not to kill that kid in that one neighborhood because he was going through shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, there was wrong on both parts. But that kid didn't need to get shot.
No.
You were just, you know, nothing like that. But I mean, just the fact that if you see somebody sketchy,
Yeah.
and you know maybe your neighbors are out of town,
Yeah.
or there might be just some young kids home or something.
Yeah.
Hey, bud, what you doing around here? Need some help? I mean,
so I'll be honest with you. I've been asked more often in nicer neighborhoods, but I have been asked in dodgy neighborhoods. And
that's a different kind of like, what you doing here, motherfucker?
No. Well, people don't approach me like that. Let's be honest. That's people. No, fuck you doing here? I'm like, I'm here to fuck your mom, bitch. Then just like, all right, damn. Yeah, no, I'm not. But I have like in dodgy neighborhoods where people have been like, huh, I haven't seen you around here. I'm like, oh, I'm just visiting a friend. They're like, all right. Let's be honest. I don't look like someone you're like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with the guy who looks like he can rip your arms off. That's the guy that I want to mess with. You're like, no, that's not. But they will ask questions, and that's also to, murder face, right? It's people are just like, oh, you here to kill somebody? Like, no, just visiting for coffee. They're like, oh, you guys drink coffee too? I'm like, yeah, murder face drinks coffee too. It's not so like, it's a weird thing where I was talking about this with the people that I'm working in the haunted house. Was like, one girl was like, I wear my makeup home on the subway because people won't talk to me because I look
crazy.
And I'm like, I don't mind going on transit ever. They're like, yeah, we live different experiences. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. Because this was also a girl that I could fold and put in my pocket. I'm like, you're very small. Like, I could abduct you with one hand.
Girls like that. They're stabbing girls like
that. Bro. Well, that's the whole idea. Like, you've been on transit before, right? Yeah. Back to the wall, right? I'm not.
Always.
I'm
like, pipe in the middle.
No. And if somebody, so there are row seats that are against the wall, but they're not back to the wall. So you're facing forward, but I'm alone. But I'm like, if someone's too close, I will turn my body halfway so I can have at least to here. And I'm like, and if there's somebody standing behind me, I immediately am turning around. Like, so that's
a guy thing, a real guy thing. You know, me and Ray just had a conversation about this. You know, like, cause even when I sit down, no matter where I'm at, my eyes are everywhere. I mean, I've gotten in trouble in different relationships because people thought I was staring at somebody.
Sure.
No. You know what? You want to know what I'm staring at? I'm looking at the two exits and entrances. I'm looking at who's by there. I'm looking at any sketchy fucking table of people acting up, and anybody raising their fucking voice. I'm looking at, who the fucking guy's going to the counters? Why is his fucking hands in his pocket? And that's all before I eat my first fucking chicken tender. I mean,
hey, sometimes the chicken tenders are worth it. But that's no. So like, okay, we talked about this. Was like in Fight Club where he walks on the bus and he's gauging everything up. I'm like, yeah, that's just being on public transit. That's not a. And people were like, you're weird. I'm like, no, you're unprotected. Like,
yes, what's
wrong with you? Like,
you're a fucking victim.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be.
Every time
I'm gonna steal your wallet.
I ever let my guard down in a situation like that, some fuck shit that happens, and it was something that I could have prevented by just keeping on my toes. But if you let your fucking guard down, that goes back to what we were talking about. When you start letting your guard down, you start feeling a little bit comfortable. That's the perfect time for somebody to attack you.
Damn, bro, we made full circle on that shit.
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah, well done. It's like I was talking. Before we went on the air was the whole idea. Like in the Bible, it says when they say there's peace, that's when the apocalypse comes. And you're kind of going, I've been saying that a lot lately, and I don't like it. And it's and like, I don't know. Like there's a saying in Greek is "kako mathemeno," is you've been taught poorly, and essentially your poor teaching has reinforced bad habits, right? So that idea, like we're in a situation where we've been so gaslit into peace, where you're like, we all know better that there's some real fuck shit's about to happen, and that's that's a lot scarier because the idea of an escalation in fuck shit means that's when, well, let's be honest, people in authoritative positions make really poor decisions. And
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Oh, don't do that.
Just
I don't want you to be right. I don't want you to be right.
I feel like that mosque that everybody prays to, that big holy mosque that
Like in Mecca?
nobody's supposed to touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's gonna be the next thing hit. I'm not saying that I want it hit. I'm not saying that we're not pushing any kind of shit like that. That is my prediction. In the comfort zone, that is what's gonna be hit. Because there's a lot of connections that with red burgers and all that type of shit that connect with it. A certain temple is supposed to be maybe built on some property that was demolished.
So this is the problem, is that if that happens, like everything is fucked. Because like realistically, you're gonna have a situation that like
that's gonna turn into a real biblical situation.
Yeah. And that's like, listen, there have been a lot of memes and posts about crusades coming back, and I'm like, listen, I'm made to be a fucking crusader, right? Like I'm built for the crusade. That's not a good thing, people. That is not a good thing. A lot of evil shit happened in the crusades, and it didn't necessarily lead to a better time.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, and like,
and what I don't understand is, and this goes for every religious person, any religion. That's why I have a totally different belief system, and it's just for this fact. The Satanists, the Baal worshippers, the Moloch worshippers, the whatever other gods these people pray to, Muhammad, Jehovah, all these prayers, all these different rituals, whether they go to the meaningful or the meaningless little let's kneel on a mat and pray to the left, or whether it is let's throw a virgin on the fire in front of a big fucking bullhead. None of it has produced anything. None of it. None of it has produced the goddamn thing over fucking millennia. None of it has produced. I mean, if I'm playing a video game and I get to the last level and it just takes me back to the second to the last level and I got to play it again, and then you're waiting for an ending that's not coming, dude.
That sounds like a great game though, where it just keeps on throwing you back as if you're wrong.
Like it doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, everybody says they swear up and down they've seen God at some time, or they swear up and down they've seen the devil sometimes. When they were almost dead.
All doing mushrooms. Great.
Yeah, it's DMT that got released by your pineal gland. That's where the fucking white light goes. Don't follow it.
No.
So I mean, if you fucking try something and it's not working, maybe it's time to be like, hey, internet. Fucking put some clothes on, take the robe off, let your wife fucking breathe. Fucking, get the ninja mask off. Maybe if you pick a better looking wife, you'd be more happy with your life. You're picking a bunch of bowling pins out of a fucking alley. You don't get to see shit. Make sure they're old enough. With the fucking kid.
Bro.
That's a big thing there. Yeah. But I mean, come the fuck on. Because your faith is good. Faith is good, and you want to believe in a God or have your faith. That's good because it keeps you moving. It gives you something to look forward to. But in the end reality, if you want a result from Yahweh or Buddha or Muhammad or any of them motherfuckers, it's not coming. It's not coming. We don't even know if it's coming when we die. What we do know is there's other dimensions. There's time travel now. There's nanoparticles. There are med beds that now that the far left is trying to cover up because Trump has been leaking shit out about that. And I looked into it. It's not a hoax. There's that's real shit that we had technology back in the day from. Big farmers trying to fuck us out of that. You know,
after you said Yahweh, I was like, yeah, it's Yahweh or no way. And you're like, oh, that's actually pretty funny.
So,
shit.
Before we end this up on our last 10 minutes, I wanted to, since we're dwelling on the sand people, a different group of sand people. And this, I have to admit, there was, and you've heard me say this plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
There were three main things that I have a problem with 47 with.
All right.
It was autistic, the whole autistic thing back in his first administration. It was the Khashoggi thing, and it was the Central Park 5 thing, which he really had a very small part in, but still, fucking apologize. Fuck.
He fell down to the hype. He fell down to the hype, put out that ad, and you're going, yeah, well, he was wrong.
So he did actually, whether how meaningful or meaningless or minute it was, he did have some looking into the autistic thing, which cool. I'm like, all right, he at least tried. He took one off of the three, but now he done put a big fucking third in its goddamn place. Now, first administration, the Qataris were worse than the Palestinians. They're fucking breeding terror. They're nothing but a bunch of fucking this and that, and they're pieces of shit. We flash forward to now. Not only is Air Force One, maybe Air Force One, or whatever the fuck, how do they say one in the litter box? Obi-Wan Qatari, whatever the fuck. We got this fucking plane that was given to us supposedly. But now, first time in the history of this motherfucking country, this fuckwit is letting the Qatari people build a fucking Air Force military base in Idaho. Not ran by, it's under the jurisdiction of our federal government, but it's not ours. It's not for us. It's not to support us. It's a fucking Qatari military base. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? You guys are complaining about Chinese taking the farms. You guys are complaining about the British having their own annexed land over here, but you're letting these thoughts, dude.
Well, Idaho is very close to Yellowstone National Park. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with military installations in that danger zone because, as we know, Yellowstone has a super volcano underneath it and is a ticking time bomb.
Right.
There is Montana has the Cheyenne Mountains, yeah, and that's where they have a few bunkers, big bunkers that go deep. Yeah, there's
you got the Area 54s, you got Groom Lake, you got fucking Dreamland out there, all of that kind of vicinity. We also got the Archuleta Mesa. We got on the other side, we got Dolce. They put this fucking Sand People military base in the heart of everything that's kind of creepy here in America. And do you think now, just as a military strategist, if you want to make an impact on America, but make it so, yeah, it was bad, but it ain't going to be that bad because we did this particular thing, that you just put a big target on one state. Because anybody who wants to attack America, they're going to attack that base and say, oh, no, we attacked the Qataris. And then, Lord forbid, one of them attacks hit that super volcano just to crack the fucking Ziploc on that fucking just bag of lava waiting to explode. Or what happens when one of these sand people, because they like digging holes, goes digs into an S4 or Dolce. Just saying Dolce base is real. Like, the base is real, but like the conspiracies and shit about it is real. If they dig down and now these same people then pissed off the aliens that we got the treaty with.
So it's supposed to be 50 miles southwest of Boise is the location, which is on the border of Oregon and Nevada. And yeah, don't.
And you're going to tell me with all the same people uprisings in Oregon, Minnesota, Michigan, and Texas, that right there encompasses, now they have a fucking battle station.
Yeah.
You know, because don't think just because they're in America that they're not still in that radical, you know, that just goes back to what I was.
Well, this is the issue with that situation is for too long, let's be honest, too long, the United States has had forward operating bases in other countries, all over the world. All over the world, that is a real thing. That's historical. That's a big deal, right? And the idea of foreign countries having bases in the U.S. sets a very weird message. Where is the U.S. no longer the peacekeeper of the world, because that's what they've been. And look, the hard part about being the hammer that everyone should be worried about is when you start making concessions, that's a problem, right? So, like, while and let's be honest, I don't think the idea of the U.S. having FOBs in other countries is good, but it's a necessary evil for what their job has been, right? So, like, the idea that now they're like, oh, you can have a base on our place. You're like, oh, that's not a good idea.
No, not at all. And then now, what does that open the door for? Because now we've been
anything.
You know how France loves to say, well, we've been allies with the Americas for this. We should have a base right under the Statue of Liberty. We gave it to you. I hear it now. But what about the cartels putting up a military base down by Texas?
Yeah.
You know, or the Cubans putting up a military base down by Florida.
Well, can you imagine instead of if America doesn't want to give up Gizmo, is they get like a base in the Keys? I think that'd be funny as hell. It'd be entertaining.
And if you go to the other side, you know, everybody takes for granted how close fucking California is to Japan.
Well, it's not close, but
it's close enough for that irradiated water from Fukushima to be hitting California shores.
I feel like California is already radiated, whether they like it or not. That happens when you have too many weirdos. They emit radiation to make more weirdos.
And then right in between there, and that's where we'll be getting a lot of the USO sightings, right in between Japan and California. That stretch of water right in between. That's where all the trafficking aliens, and you pick which species you want to say is being trafficked.
I have a real problem with what's happening. For no other reason than make it make sense. You can't. So if you can't make it make sense, then I don't think that we should be doing it, right? Like that's a like I've said this to you before. I'm like, explain it to me as if I'm a 5-year-old. Because if you can't explain it to me as if I'm a 5-year-old, then you actually don't know what you're talking about either. So, right? It's the same idea where you're like, well, that's just how it is. Sorry, that's no. You have to explain it to me. I'm not saying your logic is wrong, but I don't see it. So I need you to explain to me where it happens, because if I can't see it, if I can't connect the dots on my own, and I'm not legally retarded, then I'm missing something. So educate me, or you're wrong. Those are your options.
This whole thing about, you know, we can't tell the people the truth. We can't. Look, I'm a patriot, but not only do I you know, I'm on America's side. America's my team, but that doesn't take away the fact that I know that America's done some fuck shit. You know, I know America is now doing fuck shit around the world. That don't mean shit. It's my team. That's the team I picked. You know, I'm a Steelers fan. They don't always win. They don't always lose. I don't like what they do with their fucking, when they're doing their trading and they're paying their players. At least back in the day, because I don't watch football anymore. But back then, hey, but still, I'm a Steelers fan. Just fucking tell the fucking people. We wouldn't have these frivolous protests. We wouldn't have these, these people going after people for shit that doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
While you're under the guys, all right, if we're like, for instance, Desert Storm. Somebody would have said, hey, they're trying to cut off our oil and our money. We have to go fuck them up. Okay, go.
Right.
Here, you need a couple more tax dollars? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Why lie and say, oh, this was oil and alien artifacts? And,
this is the thing is, and like, I've said this to a few people. I'm like, you can lie to other people. Don't lie to me. Because now you're a liar. Don't lie to me. You can tell me, hey, I'm telling everybody this, but this is the real reason. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm like, I got you. But don't lie to me. If you lie to me, you're betraying my trust. And if I don't have trust for you, well, now we have a real big problem.
Yeah, now why are we having this conversation? I tell my kids that shit too. I don't care who you lie to as long as it ain't me. Because at the end of the day, I might give you hell or whatever, but I'm the one getting you out of trouble. I'm the one making sure your ass ain't going to sit in jail or dead or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. But hey, don't lie to me.
My older kids have realized that. There's shit, my kids won't tell, I'll hear from my mom or other family members, well, this and this happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. No. But I know that I had to go pick up whoever the fuck out of the shit before it got bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I was the one who got, you know what I'm saying?
It's one of those things where I'm like, listen, you can tell me that we're doing something bad. That's fine. But don't lie to me and leave me with my pants down, because then I'm gonna fuck you up. Like that's
it. And last little thing we're gonna touch on here real quick is me and have been covering this Ken Panama and the alien from down in Panama for a few weeks, talking on it and looking at it. Supposedly the kid came out with a tape saying that it was all faked. He showed a couple videos of supposedly how he was making the videos. Oddly enough, those weren't in any of the videos. And supposedly it's all been, there was nothing said on how it was made. They never showed it being moved or anything. They never put the prop out. So I'm not sure, but just anybody who has been following that shit, supposedly it was all a big hoax to get people to bring attention to climate change. Yeah, that's what they ended it with. To give people, because I make alien videos that everybody wants to watch, but I make climate change videos that nobody wants to watch. Yeah. Because everybody knows that it's full of shit, and there's nothing we can do about it.
You know what? There was somebody had posted a while ago that there was backlash or something, and something got lit on fire, and essentially it was the fucking weirdos. We're like, oh my god, somebody bring out a thing, and I'm like, that's climate change. That's climate change. There's nobody did that. That's climate change. And they got mad, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care, right? But it's like the idea that he's like, I did this because nobody watches my climate change thing. But like, well, I don't believe that either. So, all right, get fucked. Like
the one odd thing I did notice about the videos that's going around, the guy who was kind of analyzing the new video, he said, and I remember it too, about I'd say maybe 10 years ago, maybe a Japanese boat or one of them Asians found what looks like K-25, only like a beigeish white. And this thing was fucking wiggling and moving, and some people said it was some kind of marine life form, but they don't know what the fuck it was. But it looked just like that. So there's that. We have the sighting that was last year out in Las Vegas, and now all this shit going on.
Hey, let's be honest. We have 3 two recent, one current interstellar object heading towards us. We have issues and concerns.
Let me interject something on that real quick because I totally forgot about it. So we talked about Atlas 31 shooting at the sun, correct? Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. It shot back. Okay, go ahead. Back what you were talking about. Yeah, that's not, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's
so remember the video of the there was something sucking something out of our sun, and you could clearly see like there was a shield that it was, and you're going, okay. Number one is the sun isn't a planet like we understand it, right? It's we assume
on fire first of all.
Well, and this is the thing too, is remember, we assume a lot of scientific bullshit of what's inside the planet. We don't know. We have no idea, right? And that's the whole. And people are like, "Oh, what if the moon is made out of cheese?" Okay, what if it's made out of cheese? Fuckface. The moon doesn't move. It doesn't rotate. It doesn't like. There's a lot of weird shit that happens with the moon. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that we don't understand, and even like so, I Marco thing too, where I'm like, there's evidence that fossil fuels, just a buzzword, it's not fossil fuels. It's a renewable resource. It just comes out of the earth, and we've been abusing it. That's all. And like, there's a lot of things. Yeah, and like, there's a lot of things that it seems that we're being manipulated, and I'm like, honestly, bring on the fucking robot overlords, aliens. I don't give a shit. Whatever, anything at this point, because you know what, this place sucks and I hate it.
At this point, turn the page. You know, we've been on the same 2 pages of this fucking book for fucking ever. Turn the page.
I'm waiting for remember that scene from Terminator 2 where she walks up to the fence and then just wow, that's yeah, just light me on fire. That's fine. I'm done. I at this point, just stop lying, man. Just fucking tell me. You know what? Oh, I can't handle it. Good. I'll fucking pop myself. If I can't, I'll figure it out. Just like fucking enough. You know? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's some shit you ain't heard about over the fucking weekend. I'm sure you just heard about, 47 stepping off the plane. And yeah. Oh, and fuck Obama for not giving any flowers to Trump.
Ew.
So that being said, tonight we are not going to have Life of Giants. Dino got prior engagements. I'll probably go and hit a mic. So we will see you guys Wednesday for What the Fuck Wednesday. And Thursday, we're going to do Mental Health Thursday?
No, I'm working on Thursday.
Oh, all right. So short week.
Yep.
So I guess, and then there's Dan's show on fucking.
Hey, we had a good debate about Thanksgiving, which is today in Canada, like it is for the rest of the world, except for America. Because they're bitches, okay? And they're like, no, it's in November. Fucking lies, okay?
Your calendar does not mean anything down here.
It's metric. That's why we can drink it.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with your fucking metric. Jesus was in standard, imperial.
Absolutely not. Not imperial. Let's just start there. He used cubits. Not the same.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you Wednesday for What the Fuck Wednesday.
Yep.
Spend Motherfucking Monday. Be good to each other.
Later.
I'm out.
At least we ended on a high note.